Hi guys. In today's video, we're going to talk about celebrities' admiration for Michael Jackson and other friendships that the king of pop had with famous celebrities. Let's get into this. Throughout his long-running career, Michael Jackson was connected to a number of women, from his marriages to Debbie Rowe and Lisa Marie Presley to his alleged flings with Diana Ross and Madonna. When Michael Jackson and Brooke Shields first met in 1981, when she was just 15 and he was 22, they made an instant connection. Shields has insisted that she and Jackson were only ever good friends. But Jackson was open about having an enormous crush on Shields, going back to before they met. It has long been rumored that Jackson proposed to Shields and was rejected. And then Shields was pictured with a spectacular ring while dating Jackson. But she has since stated that it was a friendship ring, not an engagement ring. When Jackson raised the topic of marriage to her in the 80s, Shields responded, "You have me for the rest of your life. You don't need to marry me." When Jackson died in a drugs-related cardiac arrest in 2009, his mother called Brooke Shields personally to ask if she would speak at his memorial service. At the service, Shields encountered Jackson's father, Joseph. Aware of Jackson's claims that his father was abusive, Shields had long hated Joseph and described him as the devil. But on this occasion, she overcame her dislike to speak with him cordially after a few cocktails. Mijay was the world's most electrifying pop star the world had seen, and later became well known as the E-King of Pop, whereas in his time as one of the Beatles, Mecca completely changed the face of pop music. Not only were they both unique musical talents, but they both experienced stratospheric fame at an early age, so were probably more compatible confidants than you'd initially think. Then one day, a mystery caller found out Paul's phone number, which led him to believe it was a girl fan that managed to locate his contact details due to the high-pitched voice on the other end. He soon realized that it was Michael. The first time they'd enter the studio together was to record Say from McCartney's solo album Pipes of Peace, though it wouldn't be released until 1983. McCartney was pretty exciting and we just literally had fun, Mijay gushed years after. After establishing a bond together whilst working in the studio, Paul had suggested to Michael that he begin to invest by buying other artists' music publishing rights. Later on, Michael purchased the Beatles' songs rights. Their friendship ended in acrimonious circumstances, let's say. His unlikely friendship with royalty might be well known, but one friendship, an ultra-secret romance, that may not have received as much scrutiny and spotlight, was the one Jackson shared with fellow music superstar Whitney Houston. As two of the greatest and most famous pop stars of the 20th century, it was inevitable that Jackson and Houston would meet. According to Fides, one of Michael's bodyguards, the two met in 1991 as a natural outcome of their global success and moving in similar social circles. Connecting over their shared experience of fame, the two formed a solid bond. Fides claimed that Houston practically moved into Jackson's famous Neverland Ranch, where the pair had a secret romance. Apparently, it appeared that Jackson even considered marrying Houston and wished that their relationship was more than just a fling. But it was not to be, as Jackson found out that years earlier, Houston had a long affair with his brother, Jermaine. With such promising start of a relationship between Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston, what could have gone wrong? Close friends of the King of Pop said that he was too shy. Though the furtive fling allegedly lasted just 2 weeks, Fiddies maintains that Jackson never really got over his love of Houston. As two of the greatest entertainers of all time, Madonna and Michael Jackson did share a friendship. Madonna and Jackson met in the 1980s at the height of Jackson's fame as a solo artist, when Madonna's stardom was steadily rising. The pop music monarchs, who were coincidentally both born in August 1958, also shared a manager. Though the superstars met in the 1980s and maintained a friendship for years afterwards, it wasn't until 1990, one when rumors started circulating about the nature of the famous pair's relationship. The media frenzy was sparked when the King and Queen of Pop, both wearing white, attended the 63rd Academy Awards ceremony together. After their hyped Oscars outing, per British media, the two musicians were seen out together a handful of times, fueling rumors that the pair were dating. However, it didn't last, and they weren't seen together again afterwards. Years later, Madonna shared on Instagram a snapshot of the night, captioned, "Best date ever." While for a hot second, it seemed like there might have been a union of majestic proportions, the King and Queen of Pop's relationship ended abruptly. He met her in 1969 when the Jackson 5 signed to Motown. Motown founder Berry Gordy, with whom Diana had an affair and a daughter out of wedlock, was mesmerized with Michael Jackson. Michael moved in with Diana in 1969, and he lived with her for a year until his family moved permanently from Gary, Indiana to California. In 1977, Michael Jackson accepted the role as the Scarecrow in the film adaptation of The Wizard. This was largely due to his longtime friend Diana Ross, who was also named to play Dorothy. However, it was speculated that Ross would only get the part if she could get Michael Jackson to take part in the film as well. During 1986's American Music Awards, Michael showed up halfway through the show with a suitable replacement for Diana Ross in the form of Elizabeth Taylor. It was noted how Michael Jackson appeared visibly upset and cold towards Ross during the show, in which he reluctantly celebrated the success of USA Africa's "We Are the World" charity single. After Michael Jackson's death in 2009, and many years since they had a close relationship, Diana Ross was mentioned in his will, stating that he would like to leave his children with her in the event of his mother's death. This act, honoring her as the great mother she was to her children, and knowing in death she would be best to guide his own, but also honoring their lifelong friendship, the lasting bond they developed over the years, and a last reminder of the special place she always had in his heart. They had a very close connection and friendship throughout their life and relationship. That was today's video, guys. If you liked our video, then subscribe to our channel to see these kind of contents in the future, and also hit the like button. See you guys in our next video.